Hey folks, hope you're doing well. This is Mr. Williams talking to you about Desmos that we're going to be using this year for calculators. This is my third time trying to record this video, so hopefully third time's the charm. This is mostly for the online students, for me and Mr. Russell, for our pre-cal and algebra classes. Um, Although some of you may be watching this for reminders as well, who are in our main classes. Um, so we're going to be using Desmos for our calculators this year instead of the yellow calculators that you're used to. Those get passed around, those get germy, and I'm hoping that that sound outside the window is not loud enough that it's bothering y'all. Anyway, bit of ADHD stuff there. So I want to talk to you about Desmos, how to use it well. So Desmos, you can sign in through Clever that y'all use for a lot of stuff, or you can just go to desmos.com, DSMOS. Um, we're going to sign up. The first time, click on these and sign up with Google. That'll allow you to sign in through your school account, through your school email account. Those of you who are in pre-cal this year, were in Algebra 2 last year, you should already have the account from last year. We're going to log in through Google after you sign up. And we're going to go to the graphing calculator. That's what we're going to be using for almost everything this year. So first thing on Desmos is calculations. You're just going to use the keyboard, 3 plus 7, whatever. Bottom right of that editing window will show you the answer to that. If you want to do times, you've got parentheses. You cannot use an X because the calculator interprets that as a variable. If you want to do negative, just type a minus with a dash. Again, the answer is going to be in the bottom right. If you want to do divide, remember that fractions mean divide, so we're going to do a fraction. Use the slash button, that'll open up a fraction. We're going to say, I don't know, 11. And that again will show us the answer in the bottom right. You can press right to get out of the fraction, or you can just use the mouse. Decimals, we almost never use decimals at this level of math. If you want to go to a fraction, over here is the button that will change it to a fraction, and it will also change it back to a decimal. This is especially useful if you're graphing by hand. Now, there are some times where it will not change a decimal to a fraction because it's not possible for the decimal to be changed to a fraction. But if it is possible, then that will do it. You can have a whole bunch of different lines on this to do different calculations and save the ones that you have. If I'm going to do an exponent, maybe 2 to the 7th power, which is 128, I'll do 2 and shift 6. If you look at the shift on 6, it is an upside down. Just like on your yellow calculators, that opens up an exponent box. We are going to put, I think I said 7, and then again, it'll show you the answer down here, 128. Enter again or down will open up another equation box. I'm not sure how to move this little thing that I have here, so I cannot hide it. No, not what I want to do. Hide. This box here opens up a keyboard that will allow you to do different things. It will let you do inequalities. You can also do inequalities with your keyboard, shift, comma, and shift period. It's got absolute value, which we'll use some in algebra. If you go to the functions over here, it will have sine, cosine, tangent, which we'll be using a lot in pre-cal. Inverse sine, inverse cosine, inverse tangent, which again we'll be using a lot in pre-cal in the second semester. Algebra, you don't have to worry about that. If you go over to here to MISC, miscellaneous, it'll have logarithms and natural log, which we'll be using quite a bit in both algebra and pre-cal. Pre-cal will be the first semester, algebra will be the second semester. Over here, it'll let you do exponents. It'll let you do x and y. So let's close that. You can enter in functions on this, equations. So if I do f of x equals 3x plus 1, then over here on the right, it will graph that. If I do u of x equals negative 3x squared, it'll graph that, and maybe plus 2. It'll graph it. It'll show you exactly what the graph looks like. It won't show the arrows on the either end if they exist, but that's just something that you kind of get used to. You can do y equals 2x minus 5. That'll also show it to you. Remember, y equals and f of x are basically the same in what you've been used to in the past. There are some differences that we'll get to quite a bit in pre-cal, and then we'll get into a little bit in algebra. We can do less than with either the keyboard or with the keyboard on screen down here, and that will graph the inequality. What else? Points. Let's say I've got f of x equals x squared plus x squared plus 1. Let's say that I want to graph some points, because we will be graphing points quite a bit in pre-cal and maybe some in algebra. Let's say I want to graph the point 0, 1. I'm going to put it in parentheses, 0, 1 as an ordered pair. You'll see that over here it graphs it in red. If I want to do 1, 2, again, ordered pair in parentheses, comma 5, ordered pair in parentheses, we'll graph it, negative 1, 2. And you might have figured out the reason that I'm doing these points is because these points actually fall on this curve that I graphed. I can go over here and press this button where the mouse is, and that will actually turn off the parabola, the function f of x, and I can turn it back on. I can turn off and on that 0, 1. And so what we'll be doing some this year is you'll graph the points, and then you'll graph the function to see if it fits the points that you got. We can edit some things, and that bell is annoying. We're going to edit the list, and you can do all sorts of things over here. You can change the style of the line. You can change the color to make it easier to see. You can change this color and this color and this color so that they're a different color. They're all the same, but they're different from the curve. That way it's nice and easy to see. You can duplicate this into another one. You can do a table, all sorts of stuff you can do. The last couple of things that we need to talk about, we need to talk about saving, and we need to talk about exporting. So as long as you are signed into your account, you can go and click on the title and save it as something. So I'm going to save it as test graph. And when you save it, that will allow you to come over here and open it up later when you sign in. So you can completely get off the computer, come back, sign in later, and it'll be over here on the left. Once it is saved, you can export the graph and send it to someone via email. So that's what we'll be doing for a lot of our assignments, which you should have already watched the assignment over Google Forms and Google Classroom. So for instance, on some of those assignments, we will have you go over here to this button, Share Graph, and copy this and paste it into a Google Form so that we can check it. So I think that's everything. I think I covered everything. Hope you've had a good first day or two of class. Until next time, be well, do good.